This is WarCry. WarCry for our children, where the street meets the sanctuary and purpose meets power. Join me, Elder M, intercessor, street evangelist, prayer warrior, advocator for justice. We stand in the gap in the streets, in the courtyards, in the schoolyards, in the church and on the block. This ain't just prayer. It's intercession. It's advocacy. We deal with real problems. Criminal justice, social justice, gun violence, social media, catfishing, human trafficking, mental illness, education disparities. We deal with it all here on WarCry. Our community has a voice. It's called WarCry. Each week, we link arms with community leaders, educators, pastors, parents calling out injustice. This is WarCry. This is not just a podcast. It's more than a moment. This is a movement. Join us. Let's give a voice to the problem and be the solution. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep them going. WarCry. We're going to speak out for our children. Let freedom ring? No. There cannot be freedom until there's justice. WarCry, join us Mondays, 11 a.m. I'm just about to lose my mind. This is WarCry. They're trying to turn time back. But let us get out and give a voice to the problem. This is WarCry. Join us, be with us, or be gone. Don't push us. This is WarCry. Trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. We're not going under. This is WarCry. Good evening, everyone. This is WarCry. This is WarCry, and we are so excited to be with you again on this June the 1st day as we move into celebrating June 10th. We're going to just top off the month of June with so many exciting things, but today we're going to talk about the invisible chains and the unhealed wounds. That's a touchy subject. Invisible chains and unhealed wounds. As always, we invite you to share. We invite you to subscribe. This is a boots on the ground urban podcast. I was going to say radio station because, I do like radio, but this is a podcast where we have a panel and we have guests and we're going to chat away. And hopefully when you leave from here, you will have gained some information. And we want you to share that information, not just with your other brothers and sisters, but we want you to share with your children. Our children need to know who they are and where they come from. We have a group that don't have an identity, but we know, so it's our responsibility to share. This is WarCry. Just bring the panel on. I am so excited. Bring the panel on. I am so excited about our guests and our panel today. I am so excited about what we're going to discuss, what we're going to talk about, because we got to put this thing in the open. We can't run away from the situation. We see what the administration is doing to our people. We can only fix our problem. This is our problem, and we should have fixed it a long time ago. But now we're going to fix our problem because we're going to talk about some real conversations. So we're going to go to the first video because we want to open up our discussion. Let's go to the first video.
And so the way we deal with that is you replace it with the truth and you replace it with courage. And that's what we have to do as we journey through our own healing. So now I begin the discussion of post-traumatic slave syndrome. Well, let's first understand what trauma is. Now, I know you all heard about trauma, and particularly you heard about post-traumatic stress disorder after 9/11. Now, I'm going to submit to you that we knew what trauma was before 9/11. And what people will say, because, you know, I even have people on the radio show, because they say, yeah, but y'all free now. Well, why are you tripping? Get over it. You know what I'm saying? It's done. You're free. That's what people will tell you, right? And it's interesting, our response, because to me that's an easy response. They say, you know, listen, Joy, I wasn't a slave owner. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I'm tired of hearing about this. You know, I'm tired of feeling guilty about it. And what I say to those folks is, you know what? I wasn't there either. I'm not a slave, as far as I know. None of my cousins, friends, and associates are slaves. However, we have to understand that approximately 300 years of protracted slavery guaranteed that the progeny of the South, the white progeny, would have wealth and prosperity and privilege. And it guaranteed that the descendants of those stolen away would have debt, servitude, fear, and misery. So it doesn't matter if either of us were there. That is what it produced today. Be clear.
Cartoon videos educate.
Now let's talk about this thing about traumatic trauma and invisible chains and unhealed wounds. What did you think about the video when you looked at it? What did you think about it? Anybody? Open question. What did you think about the video when you seen it? That the majority of times when we try to talk about some of the trauma that we faced throughout our generations, people of other race say, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. How can you blame me for something that I don't do?
Right.
And that's on one side. And on the other side, we say, we
wasn't there.
Awesomes say, well, you know, I went to college. Everybody went to college. I don't live in that neighborhood no more. That's for them. That's not for us. You know, the haves versus the have-nots. So we're opening up this conversation because we need to know the real answers. Now, I see we do have our guest panelists on, and I just love her. I love her. I love her. But what did you think? Is it really a problem? Can we walk away from it and say, listen, that's then, that's not now. Okay, let's go. Let's open it up, and then we'll go to our guests. Go ahead, Hodge. Just open your mic. Let's go.
I think
tell us a little bit about your background, because everybody don't know you like I do. A little bit about your background and answer the question.
Who is that to? To anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. My name is Hodge Worley. I represent the Circular Brothers, and I am co-director of Project Harmony Incorporated. Listen, there's no way, as far as I'm concerned, that you can avoid this conversation in terms of what we're facing now, which is creeping fascism. We can't escape. We can't escape. They're trying to suppress our knowledge. They're trying to suppress everything about us. I mean, it's obvious. You can see it as plain as day. You have to be Stevie Wonder not to see this. And if you can't see, you can smell it. Because it smells real bad, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, let me come in, Hodge. Let me come in. Did we allow them to do this to us?
I agree. Now say again, Elder,
Did
please.
we allow the system to put us back in this rope-a-dope?
Well, it's kind of scientific, Elder. It's kind of scientific. As my brother Robert would say, they stay in the lab 24/7. So they've been working. We have not necessarily been allowed. Well, okay, we have not necessarily been allowing them to do this to us, but we are kind of complacent in a way. I mean, this took quite some time for them to formulate this system from bondage to civil rights, black power, etc. They've been watching us. We have been their enemy all the time.
Okay, they've been watching us. Okay, someone else come in. Come on. Did we do this to ourselves?
Yes.
Because half of us think we made it. The other half think we didn't make it. And white folks think, guess what? I let y'all get away with a lot. So let's go.
Well, I think the problem has been that slavery changed. It's the face of slavery has changed with the times. It was a form of racism then, but it evolved into modern racism, where things became systemic as to how we were excluded from the mainstream, from their stream, from the oppressor's stream of living and livelihood. So we've been, your question was, have we allowed it? To a great extent, we are still allowing it. I not only say that they stay in the lab and have us under the microscope where they know us extremely well, much better than we know ourselves, so that they can constantly plan and play their chess game and stay 10 moves ahead, if not more. So we're constantly held back in many different ways in this system that we live under. And that's the problem.
Let me say something to you. There was affirmative action, and they allowed us to go to some schools that they tried to keep us out of. And guess what? We did get some education. We did not always support our historical black colleges like we should have. We always didn't teach our kids Black history like we should have. We didn't always sit down with our families and teach them the history like a lot of our other brothers and sisters in another religion do, so that the oral translation would stay within. We didn't always do that. So that's why I say some of this is our fault. We got more black on black crime against our own self. We got colorization within our own self. We got a lot of things going on with our own self. So is it fair to point the finger at them when the finger should be pointed at us? I'm just saying. Okay, who's going to jump in next?
Well,
come on.
Okay,
go ahead. Just introduce yourself. Tell me what organization, so everybody know.
Yeah.
Deacon Rodney, Deacon Rodney, your mic is not working. Deacon Rodney, your mic is not working. He's going out to come back in. That's Deacon Rodney. And let me tell you who Deacon Rodney is. Deacon Rodney is a Catholic deacon in the Catholic Church, and he pushed for reparations for us. As you know, the Catholic Church, Pope Paul has put a statement out, and that statement is saying is addressing some of the Atlantic slave trade that the Catholic Church participated in. Now, I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot about that. Okay, who wants to be next? Come on. Did we do this to ourselves, or did they do it? And is this trauma really trauma, or are we just finding an excuse? Minister Patton.
Yeah. No, we did not. This is not all of our fault. Let's look back at the period of Reconstruction. After the period of Reconstruction, and you had the 14th Amendment, there were 200 bills put before the Senate about anti-lynching. 200 bills, and they were all shot down. One was the Dreyer bill in 1922 was passed in the House of Representatives, but they did a filibuster and it went poof. So when this thing happened there was an incident that happened in Ohio. I have to write it down. It was an incident that happened in Ohio, and 150 black men were killed. They went to the Supreme Court and said, well, the 14th Amendment says that you are supposed to protect them. The Supreme Court came down with the decision that you have to be responsible for your own people in your area. This is what the 14th Amendment said. You have to be responsible for your own people in your area. So
I don't know. We do have a 14th Amendment specialist on the line.
Okay.
Because when we look at the 14th Amendment and we look at the 13th Amendment, we got to look at the dates that these amendments was written and how people interpreted these amendments, and they were not interpreted for our benefit. That's why we got so many problems in the White House.
Right.
That's why I'm going to throw the question out here eventually, because I'm really upset about this. Should we participate in 4th of July or should we participate in Juneteenth? You know, why do we black people participate in 4th of July? But I'm going to just say that, just to throw it out there. Who wants to come in next? Did we do this to ourselves? Mecca, did we do this to ourselves?
I mean, some of it we did to ourselves, but don't you think at this point it could be from the lack of understanding? Because if you don't know who you are, if you can't identify who you are as a black person, if you can't identify who you are as a person that can do good or well or has something to contribute to society, if you can't identify that, and people tell me that the teachers that teach in the schools that are poor schools or underprivileged school gets X amount of dollars over what the other teachers get, then why isn't it producing? Why isn't it producing? They get an X amount of dollars over what the regular.
You know what? It goes longer than the school systems.
Because we have, but why do we have school to the prison pipeline?
Yeah, we got that, but it's our problem goes longer than that. Mecca, come in, Mecca.
The usage of the word allow is crazy, right? And the whole panel is making excuse, right, for a system that is so broken or so well thought out, so 10 steps ahead, whatever they got, they agenda, they study us, they know this and a third. At that same sentence, right, you can put a comma and say that there is no wiggle room in that system or in that construct of the matrix to even address the situation where we could be effective as a people. Because there is I don't
understand that. When you tell me there's no wiggle room, look, we went to college, we went to private schools, we went to college, we went to private schools, we work on Wall Street, we work in the White House. What do you mean there's no wiggle room? Some of us got out of the wiggle room.
Auntie Elder, that sounds like hush hush. That sounds like hush. Let me give them a little this, little that, because I know they are superior people. I know they're of superiority. You understand what I'm saying? So if I don't keep them in a level of oppression, it's going to mess up what I have going on as white power or whatever the case may be.
A level of oppression. Did you hear that, Mr. Trevor? So you're telling me that I'm under a level of oppression?
Absolutely.
Even with
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Barack Obama. I'm not bamboozled, Auntie Elder, by what they portray as
we
success.
We got to have a real conversation. Because guess what? Half of us, not maybe you guys, but half of us think we're free because we made it. We're living in Cupcake City.
Not really. This is not Cupcake City.
We're making the digits behind one number. We got the receipts. We got the degrees. And the other half of us is almost dying because we're being oppressed. So we've got to talk about the marginalized people, not those that made it on affirmative action. And let me tell you something. We got a brother that's sitting on the Supreme Court. You know he's not for us, right? That's all I'll say.
No.
You know he's not fun.
This is what I'm
Okay, who
saying.
else want to come to the conversation?
This is
Come
what
on
I'm
in.
saying, Auntie. When they put their puppeteers in place to polarize the black race, and everyone will say, yes, 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 we praising the best slave that made it, that they dangling in front of our face to keep us quiet, to give us some level of equalism. I never understand why, as a superiority, right? Because I'm not going to sugarcoat my melanin for no unmelanated character, right? Right? When I don't care how much Jay-Z is on a stage. I don't care if they put Barack Obama in the presidential highest seat of the nation. We still have yet to accomplish anything. We're still having meetings and kumbayaing. We don't feel equal. It's a lot of sister, sister, sister. And the plan of action is so diluted or left with violence is the only answer. You understand?
Well,
Because propaganda is
okay,
so
Mecca.
effective
Let me go
on
to
the
someone
black
else so they can come
mind,
in. Let me come
right?
in. You
According
know,
to the steps
violence
that
is
they
the
are
answer.
ahead, that is
Maybe
no way to even increase the unity that you see in other races or religion, like you said, Auntie
okay,
Elder. You
Mecca.
understand what I'm saying?
Let me bring somebody else in because maybe that's why we have violence in our DNA. Okay, someone else want to come in? Okay, are you there, Deke? Deke, is it working? Deke, we can't hear you because we're blaming the Catholic Church for a lot of this.
And deservedly so.
We're blaming, hold it, everybody who blame the Catholic Church, raise your hand. We're blaming you. That's right, Deke. Sorry about that.
Now,
Okay,
now,
come on
now,
in, Deke.
so sorry for I had to turn my phone off. Yeah. Yeah. To answer the first question is it our fault? Did we do this to ourselves? Are we doing it? Both and none. This is a setup. It's a battle. And it's a battle from the beginning. Okay, so yeah, we're complicit in
Okay,
how.
Deke, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Deacon Rodney Beckford. I'm a Catholic clergyman. The right kind of clergy for the Catholic Church that's married with children. Okay.
Wait, hold it. I didn't even know black
Okay.
was the Catholic Church. Look, I didn't even know the Catholic Church had black.
Yeah, a lot of folks didn't know that the deacons were around. Go to the Bible. The deacons were around before they were priests. When the priests were in the Jewish temple and whatnot, the apostles were ordaining the deacons. Okay, all right. But and I caveat that because the deacons were gone for about 800 years because the deacons and the priests were fighting because the deacons had too much power. That was before the Reformations. Okay, so but they brought them back in 1964 because he was running out of priests.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still run out of because God didn't ordain this
Yeah.
for men not
Well,
to
Dick, let me ask you a
do what they
question.
got to
Is it
do.
any black? How many black priests is it? Is it any black popes?
Well, you got one now, and there's been three others in the past from Africa.
Okay.
In the 300s, some of the one of the greatest popes was a black pope from Africa. Of course, the Europeans don't tell you that. Okay,
Okay.
this President Pope, who is not denying that he got black blood in him,
No.
is the fourth. Is the fourth of with African blood from the continent of Africa in them. Okay,
Okay, Dick.
he's further
Go back
removed
to
than
the
the others. The
question.
others are
Let's go back to the question.
directly from Africa.
Let me ask the question. Do you think we
Oh,
did it to
I can't hear
ourselves?
you. Is it me?
Do you think we did it to ourselves?
Oh Lord,
Okay. All right.
can you
We've
hear
had
me?
yes. I can hear you, but you can't hear us. Okay, I'm going to bring our guest on. Bring our guest on.
Oh man.
Oh my God, I am so proud of this young lady. When I met her for the first time, I fell in love with her. When it talks about the history of our people, the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the Emancipation.
I can't hear.
Sorry, the Catholic Church
Yeah.
losing
I
hearing. But
I
I want to bring her on. Tell us a little bit about your background. And I want you to jump in to the conversation and tell us a little bit about the trans-African slave trade. Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I love hearing this conversation. My name is Almitra. I'm from Queens, New York. You see what it says on the screen. It says I'm a futurist because I'm a person that loves and studies history because I want to know where we're going. And when I watched the clip of Dr. Joy DeGruy talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome, and having this conversation with a non-melanated person about this reality of like, well, we weren't there, right, at the time that it happened. The first thing I thought of is, this thing that we keep talking about, which is slavery, and then Jim Crow, and then what happened during the civil rights era was all the construction of whiteness in this country, of so-called whiteness in this country. And I learned this concept as an adult, right? This wasn't something I learned as a child, but this is one of those things I think that needs to be taught to children, that this race thing that we live in is just a construct, right? And Mecca said the Matrix, right? And so I really want to get back to what she's talking about, right? This just a construct, right? Racism is a real thing. People can't get loans. People are out here having beef with each other. The system is crazy and putting so-called Black people at the bottom of the totem pole. So racism is a real thing. And race is a construct that was used for capital, to create capitalism. The whole transatlantic slave trade, or triangular trade, which is what my professor, Dr. Arthur Lewin, taught me. It's about money. Okay, it's about exchanging labor and people in the form of labor, free labor, for goods. And all of that entire system is what was used and leveraged to construct whiteness. And whiteness was constructed as a way for so-called white people, melanin recessive people, to survive. Dr. Welsing taught us that. So we are up against people that are absolutely going to do everything that they can to survive out here. And how do they survive? They survive by oppressing the hell out of melanin dominant people. That is how they survive. How do they survive? They survive by doing everything in their power to center them. And so for me, what we have to teach our children is to center us, our story, how it is that we came to be here, how it is that we are here, and everything that happened in between, because everything is still happening. And not knowing what happened before is not going to help us in any way. And so, I hear Elder M.
Let me come in with a question. I have a question.
Okay, sure. Yes.
Can Black people be racist?
Absolutely.
Black people cannot be racist because Black people don't have economic power. Race plus power is how you get to be racist. So the only people that's out here that can be racist are the people that can stop people from getting jobs, stop people from advancing, stop people from getting into school. So Black people that's out here being prejudiced and discriminatory and evil as hell, you not racist. You ain't got no power. Like that's no.
Well,
okay, now we have someone who want to say something.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that statement, panel? Now I agree with her, because we don't own enough wealth to be racist. We don't have enough power to be racist. But because I do have a panel, I want the panel to come in. Do you think Black people can be racist? Come on, anyone who agrees that Black people can be racist.
I need to agree nor disagree.
Okay, hold it.
Is it all right for the lowest?
I'm gonna have Deke speak, and then Mecca, you can speak, and then we'll fall down the line. Deke, 1 minute.
I agree, and because if I look at it philosophically in the way it is, you're darn right. You're absolutely right. Looking at it, but in terms of just straight talk, and straight talk, we're going to be discriminatory when it's one or the other. That's just nature.
Okay,
nature
hold that.
says
I just need the question answered. I just need the question answered.
One thing.
Mecca, come in.
So the lowest rung on the non-melanated totem pole can treat me with a level of disrespect in forms of my skin color in contrast to theirs, and that's okay. The non-melanated people that's in the welfare center with me, that's all right for me not to be like I'm a tad bit better. I feel the level of what you're saying. You're taking away from our ability to even feel what we need to conceptualize inside ourselves as far as confidence, right? So you telling me I can't be racist to whites? They don't need to have everything in their life together to hate my black ass. I hate them just as much as they hate me. We
Okay,
cannot be
okay,
showing them love like that.
okay. All right, Mecca, hold it there. Anyone else that believes that black people can be racist?
May
Anyone
I
else?
chime in? Can I
Come
chime
in.
in, please? How you doing? I'm Jawan Zakar. Hello, panel. How you doing, brothers and sisters? The term racism, when you say ism, you're talking about a vantage point of having over somebody. You're basing it on race. That's where you get the race part. You have to ask yourself, in what way can black people affect the lives of white people as they affect us? Can we deny them jobs? Can we control the school system and what they're taught and stuff like that? Can we teach them to hate themselves? Do we have that power to do that? No. Racism is something that is endemic of Europeans and Arabs. You want to pretend that it's not? It's true. Because you tell me in what way. I asked a white person this one time. I said, tell me in what way you feel threatened by black people to the point where you can't, it stops you from being who you are. And he told me, he gave me an example of getting into schools. He called that, I said, we don't control the school systems. You control the school systems. So how can we be racist in that form? So to answer your question, there's no way people of African descent could be racist because we do not have that. We do not control the economic system or anything like that.
Okay, anyone else want to come in before I turn you back over to Almitra? Come on. Can black people be racist?
Hello. Well, I think that the concept that she presented was an interesting concept. We can't be racist until, how can we be racist? Because we don't hold the means of wealth. We don't hold the means of generational wealth. We don't hold the means of all of this. We don't hold the means. So how can I be racist against my own people or racist against white people? Because we do not hold anything. They hold all the cards. Well, they hold the cards since the development of the colonial system to the United States to up until now to 226. They hold the cards. So what are we supposed to do when we're in that
situation? Mr. Trevor,
yes.
Haven't you felt pressure from our own people that they themselves made us feel like they didn't want to be bothered?
But is that racism? Or is that a thing of a personality because I don't like you because of A, B, C? Is that defined as racism?
Okay, somebody else come in. Somebody else. Anybody want to come in? Because we're going to turn it back to Almitra.
May I say something? This is the first time that I've even looked at racism in reference to like the power structure, whether you have the control on the people or the masses. I've been used to putting or having the definition of prejudice, of using the word prejudice. I don't like so-and-so. I don't like that race of people because, of whatever the fact is. But as far as white folks in general, or those I've come to now know and define it as those in control, I'm very prejudiced about. Because they have held us down. We have control we need to take control on ourselves as far as uniting and coming together. That's where our focus has to be, because at this point, we don't own jack. We own nothing, especially compared to the so-called elite or 1% or whatever. So we have a lot to so-called or catch up. But we can't do it individually. As you said, Elder, we've been allowed at some point to go to prestigious schools, what do you call it, the prep schools and all of that. So there was a number of us that so-called made it, right? In those years, coming from the 70s, to now. So it kind of dumbed us down in a way, or caused us to be inactive. It took away the feeling of revolution. It gave us the feeling that we did move ahead to whatever degree, and we good. We are not good. We are not good. And we need to understand that. And we need to start focusing on teaching our kids. I have an organization called Families United for Solutions. I'm also a member of a new group that we established called Men of Purpose. That's what we need to do. We need to understand our purpose to empower our people. That's the mission. That's the goal. Empower our people. Not just this little.
Lost audio again.
But Hart, I perfectly agree with you. I'm with you, my brother. You know I'm with you. I've been with you. But guess what? We all need to come together and be with each other. See, the whole thing is that you're here, somebody else is here, somebody else is here, somebody else is here, somebody else is over here, and we don't all come together. I remember when I was going to buy a brownstone, I had them some money, but guess what? It was some people in that area, and you know who they are. They had the money. And so they all came together and bid it on everything there. And that must be our mindset, that we must unify in order to get power, economical power. We must unify. It can't be about this person and this person. So all of us need to work together. I want Almitra to come back on. Almitra, come back on. They say that we've lost over the Atlantic slave trade. It was over 20 million people that died.
That's a conservative number.
And that's okay. Come on, D. That's a conservative number. Now we always look at it that they came over here. They came to the United States, or they came where America Vespucius. That's why America. He established, but it was way before him, way before Christopher Columbus. Guess what? Our native brothers was here, but we won't get into that. But they took us many places. Brazil is 80% this color. Amitra, come in. Tell us the different places that the slave boats took us to, and that we lost our identity of community, family, and language. Amitra.
So, thank you. Thank you. Hey, and I do want to hear from you, brother. So I'll just say a few things, okay? So being trafficked, right? Because this was human trafficking from the west coast of Africa. For the most part, we did come from Central Africa also. Came across, and the first boat in the story landed somewhere in the Caribbean, right? And so it's no surprise that there is a tremendous amount of melanin dominant people in the Caribbean, in South America, and of course in North America. But you said something about our Native American brothers. Let's not get it twisted.
That's right.
It is us. It's us. It's us. It's us. It's us. It's us. It's no different type of people. We were already here. Okay. And the movement of people on the planet is how capitalism got created on this planet. It wasn't just us that was moved around. Every person of color got moved around on this planet by melanin recessive people, right? In the interest of trade, in the interest of taking people's land and taking people themselves, kidnapping people. So human trafficking and enslaving people is how capitalism got created on this planet. And North America is the epicenter. So that's what I want to say about.
Okay, I want let the Deacon come in. Deacon, come in. Tell me about the participation of the Catholic Church in taking my brothers and sisters and throwing them in Brazil and throwing them over here in the West. Tell me about it, and what was our value? Tobacco, cotton, rice, sugar. Am I leaving?
All of the above, the
All
whole
of it.
thing,
That was my
all of
uterus.
it.
Okay,
All
keep telling me.
exploitation is exploitation, and every facet of it. It was all about all of those things in power. Okay, the Europeans came in; they were taught by us in the first place. Okay, the church was not a European church. The church, by and large, Christian church, was not all split up, and it was one, and it had nothing to do with race. It had much to do with cultures. But you see, the Europeans had that tendency. Those kings and those monarchs who the church put an imprimatur on and said, "Hey, yeah, y'all can go ahead and take whatever you want in the name of the Lord." Okay, that exploitative part of the church. Not Baptist, not different denominations. It was only one Christian church at the time.
The
Okay,
universal church, the
that's right,
Roman church.
the
That's
Roman
where we
Church,
all
the
came from.
universal church. But
It
you
was the
see,
universal church.
but the Coptics and all the other derivatives of that were all in union. Okay, and they were not European. Okay, the thing is, we've allowed the Europeans to take everything and take their evils and everything else and impose that in a race like they usually do. They have a tendency of doing that. History bears it out, and whitewashed what was original. But if
Now,
you
do
go,
me a favor, D. Tell me
Mhm,
the different places. Like I think we landed in the Carolinas, and that
mhm.
was because of the cotton. We went to Portuguese because of tobacco. Give us a trail on where they really took us to.
that
He
we had taught them, okay, every advantage in mineral, in spice, in food, in culture, in science that they saw from us and we shared with them. They took those things and they expanded that, and they were greedy and evil. And those who are in power, and you go back to power, okay, power corrupts. And we've allowed it in a way, okay, because at the time we were not the powerless. So yes, from the beginning, yes, we had a hand in our own coming to this, but I don't want to focus on. I want to focus on telling the truth. I want to focus on knowing the history, and I want to focus on where we're going. Let me skip to one thing here, since it's opportune and time is short. What this Pope just did, okay? He included something in to correct something. He didn't correct it. All he did was acknowledge it from that level. It had been corrected by the previous Pope, Leo the 13th, who was more that straight up person after Pope, after the four that preceded him, who kept this papal bull and gave all this permission. There were four popes in a row who gave up all of this. All Europeans. I'm just calling it. Okay, and what is happening right now is the same thing that was happening back then. This Pope saying what he said now
But
has
what
to
did he
do
say?
again.
Tell us what he said. Tell
What
us what
what
he said.
what he's saying now is, excuse the language, y'all. Yeah, we screwed up. We allowed all this happening because of us. That's the short version of what was said.
And
We have to
all is
apologize for
happening
that
because of the Catholic Church.
because of
Period.
because of the power of the church. No, the church. No, it wasn't the Catholic Church. It was the church too. Okay, the church gave permission. Okay, it happened because the evil was wanted it to happen. All right, the Portuguese and all that, they wanted all this. Okay, and they went to the Supreme Court at the time, which is the Catholic Church, to get it okay. All right, and they got it okay 4 popes in a row for hundreds of years. Okay, now what the apology here is an acknowledgement from a pope from the first time from the church saying we did this, we okayed this, and it was because of the resources and everything that we allowed all this to happen. The human capital of the resources of slavery. This slavery was a brand new slavery. It wasn't a slavery of the time of Jesus. Okay, slavery was around for a long time, but it wasn't around for the same evil purposes that slavery in the United States took shape in being.
Okay.
Okay.
Deacon Rodney, I want to ask one question, and then I'm going to let Hodges come in and turn it back over. Will the
Mhm.
statement that the Pope Leo said, will
Mhm.
it move us closer to reparation?
I want to say no.
It's definitely no.
No.
So even though the Catholic Church,
No.
which is the largest church, universal church, is saying that this is what happened. We've taken people and we moved them to, and so that's not going to move us closer.
No, it's a step, yes, but it's an acknowledgement. You gotta start by admitting it. First, you admit it, but it ain't moving a damn thing closer. Okay? Because the reality is that
come in. I'll come back to you. Hodges, you had something to say. Come on in, Hodges.
Yes. Okay. Firstly, I want to commend you, Elder, on what you are doing. This platform is very, very important. I am a broadcaster on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And I've been threatened about saying things about Donald Trump, the regime, what's going on in Gaza, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not going to belabor that. I think that this is great, but I think one thing that bothers me is we are sometimes saying that the adversary has all the tools or all the cards. I do not believe that. I'm a student of history, and history tells me that the people rise up time after time after time after time, and it gets stuff done. I'm also a member, I'm a veteran of the Black Panther Party. And so I've seen what we are able to do. We might not have always gotten it right, but we were able to accomplish some things. I've seen what was done in the civil rights era, in the Black Power movement. I've seen what people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, so forth and so on, have done. So we are capable. We are capable of doing some great and wonderful things. We have to recognize that and stop giving them the power that they really don't deserve.
Okay, Almitra, come in, Almitra. I need you to come in. Hodge, I want to bring Almitra in. Almitra, come in. Almitra.
Okay.
Almitra, I want to say something. I am so tired of coming on podcasts, on TV, or having seminars about the system that oppressed us. I need, after you say what you say, I need to know, how can I break this chain? What can we do to help our young people? They're dying. And I'm sorry about it. What can we do? We go on podcast after podcast. We look at TV. We see what the White House is doing, and we still stay stuck. The criminal rate is still going up. Our kids are still being killed. What do we need to do to break the chain? You got it, girl. You got it.
So I think the answers is right here. I like this group of people right here. There are answers and solutions, right? And I'm hearing them right now. What the brother just talked about is exactly what I want to say. Like, we have accomplished so many things, and our magic, our ability to organize and our resiliency is just ridiculous. But what we don't do enough, in my opinion, is focus on that. Right. And so for me, the solution is to center ourselves, and not what the so-called deficits is. And when I mean that, this is what I mean. Turn off the TV. Actually ignore, right? Because the amount of attention that we are giving the so-called oppressor is not helping us. It is attention and time that we are not paying to our children and to ourselves for our healing. And this time right here, let me just say this. I'm going to say this because I'm repeating it, because I think it was John Lewis. Somebody told me at some point, yo, we won already. Everything that we're seeing right now is in reaction and response to that, to the fact that we have already overcame. We've already won. What we're witnessing, okay, I talked about the construction of whiteness. And so I want to tie that to what I'm about to say right now. What we're witnessing right now is the destabilization of so-called white people in this country. Okay? The women are not having babies. Please get what I'm saying. They are scared to death of extinction. Everything that we are seeing is in response to that. So it is for us to know that the enemy is absolutely going to come for us, right? We don't believe that enough. We don't need to believe it. We need to know that. Know that to be the truth, so that we can teach the children that. Know that we already won. So
okay,
that
I gotta hold that.
Anyone
that agree with Almitra? Anybody agree with her that we've won? Anybody?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What's the definition of one? What's one? I understand what you're saying, but we need to be able to define what it is. What it is to win. What is the end game? Can we define that?
What's that definition?
So let me say what I mean. This is what I mean. We have more of us graduating from college, right? I'm not really into saying that is a special thing. I'm just going to compare that to the fact that so-called white people are not graduating, right? And so-called white people are men in particular are eating bullets. They are taking themselves off the board at a rate that eclipses any other race and so-called race. I just want us to get clear. So that's what I mean. I mean, melanin recessive numbers are trending in the wrong directions, and melanin dominant numbers are trending in the right directions. That's what I'm talking about. Data is just real plain. This is the data that doesn't get discussed.
Okay. Anyone else?
So we need to just focus on us.
Okay.
That's the biggest point. That's the biggest point that I do agree with you, Almitra, is we do have to focus on us. That's what we need to do. We have to come together. We have to focus on how we can build. How do we build together or rebuild? How do we do the good, positive things we've done in our history, our ancient history, where we were the leaders of civilizations and made civilizations? The Moors, the Spain and Europe. We were the kings and queens over there. We established all that. I can't really understand where the turn of events shifted. But that doesn't matter.
Let me come in. How can we get that energy generated with our young people? See, we know, but how are we going to get it?
We have to start teaching them, Elder. We have to start teaching our own. Malcolm X was a very profound leader.
Yes, sir.
And he said it. The enemy, those that are in power, are not going to show us the way. That's been their whole thing about being on the throne. They've taken us away from ourselves, our capabilities, our knowing ourselves, everything. It's a psychological game. They created and made a spell. We are spellbound, and we have to break that spell.
Okay.
The first thing is Deacon Beth said, we have to be aware. We have to be aware.
I got to bring Deacon on. I want to do the thing we want. Because guess what?
No.
Some people think we've lost the battle.
I don't think we've won or lost, but I think you mentioned thing is a battle. What we're going through is a backlash, because the realities, as the sister said, the realities is that self-preservation in the terms of those whose numbers are going down, whose influence is going down, where righteousness has moved in some places, and we've won some battles, and we were on trajectory to continue that, and things have been put in place to, that battle's over. Now there's another war going on. And the war going on now is we've got we haven't won. We've won advances, and we've been able to educate ourselves because they went out of their way to make sure we weren't educated enough to figure it out. And once we had that, it's hard to take that back unless they go to battle to keep us stupid. And one way is to make sure our kids don't know. One way is to make sure we don't have institutions. One way is to make sure that there's nowhere for us to impart that information other than our family. But if you're talking about second and third generation of us that were lost in between, I would say the 50s, 60s and here, okay, they've already done major battle damage to us because our kids don't even want to learn about this right now because how do we having a hard time getting to them to teach them? Where do we teach them from? We were on our way. We had it going on. Find me an African Ghanaian drumming class or cultural class somewhere in the cities now. Where we have, and I'm 74. But we had them years back. We were educating ourselves, and the institutions around us were educating us about us, and our churches were educating us about us. Our bosses were educating us about us, and all of those things have been diminished down so that we can't even teach each other because we have to set up that institution to teach ourselves.
And I want to jump in, then I want someone else. Especially in the South, a lot of the Southern schools was named like from Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. So when you went to those schools, you felt a sense of Black history just by going into those schools. Now they're changing the names. They're not even teaching even who the school. They're changing the names in the South. I just want to say that. So you don't even go to Black schools or about that demonstrated unspeakable things in accordance to our history. So we got to get back to the Blackness of who we are and teach our kids. Okay, anyone else want to come in? Who think we won? Do we think we won?
No. I don't think we won. I think, like I said, it has to say win, you have to define what winning is. What is the end game? We haven't done that. But there's an old African proverb that states, if you do not teach your kids, if someone else teaches your kids, they're not your kids.
That's right.
So in essence, what the brothers and sisters said already, we must take control of the education of our children. What our children are receiving now is called miseducation. Carter G. Woodson breaks it down beautifully. The miseducation is what's happening to our children. We're teaching our children, our children being taught not to appreciate who they are because they do not understand who they are. If they understood the beauty and the greatness that exists in them and the history that they have, not from the point of slavery. Our history goes way back before slavery.
Yes.
We have a great history before slavery. And we need to tap from there. I was told one time, a brother told me he wanted to do a program with the kids, how we came from Africa. Slavery like that. I said, why don't you go back? I said, our history did not begin at slavery. He said, it's too far back for them. I said, brother, you're willing to teach them from the Bible. The Bible goes all the way back from a certain time. You can teach from the Bible. You can teach them from Kemet, about Kemet. So it's the responsibility for raising our children and teaching our children falls on us. No one else but us. We can't expect the school system, the European school system, to teach our kids. Their job is to dumb them down so they can be subservient to them. They're doing their job. Right. We're not doing our job.
So what I hear you saying is that that's a part of the parents' responsibility. Is that that's a part of the parents' responsibility?
Parents and community.
And because we can't rely on the school systems to do it, we can't even rely on the church to do it. Even though I do think it's the church responsibility.
It is the church responsibility.
For righteousness. Let me tell you, the church has more real estate than any other business around, and they stay closed. If we bring our children in and begin to teach them, also the school systems, though everything don't work on the weekend in the school systems, we can use some of the schools and begin to come together and teach our kids who they are, because it's a lot of narratives that's been given to our kids that's not true. Like they think slavery is ugly. They think slavery is, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to discuss that. That was then, that's now. And our history, as you know what they're doing in Florida and a lot of other states, is being taken out of the classroom and out of the libraries. So they can't even read about it anymore. So we do have a problem. Almitra, come back on. I think one solution you came with, Almitra, was that we have won. Now, I agree with you. Maybe we haven't a lot. We've not have won everything, but we have made some leadways and accomplishments, and we need to make more. But we're not unified. Mecca, have you been listening in? I want to give you an opportunity before I bring, because I know you're gonna fire it up. You and Mr. Trevor can fire it up.
Come on, Mecca.
Really quickly, the message is so outdated.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I'll be right.
Oh, I was having
We're
that
gonna
problem
get her
too.
back. We're gonna get Mecca back as soon as Mecca
Do you
comes
want
back.
to get in the conversation?
Yeah, I wanna jump in here, right? And so, a mistake committed to we won, because everyone's gonna get this at some point. We won every resource that we need. We have so many books. Claude Anderson, Jawanza Kunjufu, like we have so many books available. Teaching our children is easy. This is so easy. This is so easy, right? It's just the intentionality has to be there. Okay, Mecca's back. I want to hear what you got to say.
Come on in, Mecca. Mecca, come in.
All I'm saying is the message is outdated. The message has been outdated, right, for so long that the youth are so frustrated that they're killing themselves trying to figure out why they're so frustrated, right? And it's the disconnect between the church, the schools, and the message, because there's so much new forms of battling that level. I think slavery is used as a form of like a scarce tactic to say, oh well, they did this, so let's use that as motivation for progression. And it's not even that, right? It should not be that more so, right? So the message needs to change. That's all. I wish I had the more words to like elaborate on that, but the message is what's outdated. There's not even textbooks in the schools. My kid go to school every day. I had a English history go. I had big textbooks. They don't have that, right? I asked my son, what was the triangular slave trade? He said triangle slave trade. So they don't know. You understand? And so for you to put that on me when the construct has it to where I'm not even in the home, they're snatching the man out the home, right? It gets a little bit harder to keep transcribing the message to the youth.
Right.
Along with the propaganda that is so heavily publicized, not even on TV, but just to keep it to where there is no unity amongst whatever melanated race or wherever we trying to get, that is just keeping us more focused on separation than how do we get together, right? Because the propaganda is so effective by the oppressor that it's like, and the focus on the past so much is what's frustrating to the future, is what I'm saying. So if we're going to be
to our younger generation,
Elder,
who don't need.
Can I say something, please?
I got to bring Minister Patton in because she hasn't said
Okay,
anything.
all right. I'd like to say something after her.
She's a no justice, no peace type of person. Go ahead, no justice,
no peace.
No peace.
You know, the issue is that, you know, I've been an educator and an administrator for quite some while. I've seen our children be successful. I've seen them fail. I'm more concerned about our children that are failing. Why is it? I just remembered, why don't we take this to the street? We have all of these wonderful organizations here. Why can't we get together once a month, close the whole street down, close the streets down, have the kids in the street, get the books, have a reading section, have a poetry section, have a hip hop section, close the place down, let them come into the community, let them come out in the streets, and let's show them who we are. All these
let's come together at Baisley Park. Let's do it.
It could be a park, but I would really shut down the streets where people are inconvenienced and they can take their kids out, get out their car and say, what in the world is going on?
No, I think we need to take it to a park because I might be able to get a permit at the park, not the street. Go back. Coach, I can take. Go back.
We're better together.
I got you. Okay, Amitra. You can see we're radical. We want solutions. We want answers. Amitra, come on. Yes.
Elder, can I give what I think is a possible solution?
Yes.
We've been talking about education. Education is near and dear to my heart. Brother Jawanza, I think you probably will remember this. Do you come from Brooklyn?
I'm from Queens, but I know about Brooklyn.
All right. So
All right.
in Dougal, you know about Uhuru Sasasuli. Do you know of that? Uhuru Sasasuli?
I know about the
It was
East,
an
but I don't know about
armory.
that.
Say again, brother.
I said I heard about the East, but I'm not
With the
familiar with
East.
that one.
Okay, all right.
The East.
And and when I was in the party, we taught the Cubs. We had political education.
Yes, sir.
When I was in the Black United Front, we taught the Cubs. We had political education.
Yes, sir.
And it worked. It worked. Why we dropped it, I'm not quite sure. But I have seen some genius talent come out of some of them young brothers and sisters. We got the solution. We just got to do it.
Yes, sir.
Stop
We
getting in
gotta
our
do
own
it.
way. We
Yes,
got
sir.
the solution.
We got to do. I want to turn back to Alicia, but it's a brother on here that have not spoke.
Brother Mark.
Come on, Mark.
Come on, Mark. I need to hear from you. This is the voice we need to hear from. We are a community. Mark, come on.
Can't hear you, Mark. You're muted.
Mark. I think you're muted. You're not speaking. Yeah, you're muted. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Hear me? Peace and blessings for allowing me to come on. But I come out of, I'm a Garveyite. My grandparents came to this and they were part of the Universal Association. And I've also been part of the Harlem Liberation School. First and foremost, many of our pastors and preachers are not from our liberation theology. And so our kids are, and we need to make sure that Malcolm X said the future is here, and we're failing to prepare our kids for the future. Those who knows their past and understand how the past is interconnected to their future won't seek to destroy themselves. We talk about reparations, and when we talk about reparations, the ancestors had already paid the price. And a lot of people put too much faith into the Democratic Party. But Biden had an opportunity and whatnot. And May 19th of 2024, there was a reparations convention, which was with our brother Shabazz Zulu and also Cornel West. Did the Biden administration send a delegation there? No, they did not, and whatnot. And so they're playing this game with reparations and whatnot. And America has given reparations to every other ethnic group except for us. We have integrated out of power as opposed to integrating into power. We have all these other different ethnic groups who have piggybacked off our civil rights movement. Before you can decision for certain other ethnic groups, they want to know what concessions are you giving. The gays, the Jews, the Latinos have all piggybacked off our civil rights movement. And so as our brother Dr. Claude Anderson said in Powernomics, and we have to ask what the demand is, and we have to move with that demand. We should not put all our faith into one bucket, and we need to make sure that when we run candidates, and when we talk about political power, we have to make sure that those candidates that are running have the mores and the issues of the grassroots community at heart. And until we learn how to do that and how we use leverage, we're going to continue to get what we've always got. And so we have to ask ourselves, as Claude Anderson had asked, what are you getting for your vote?
There you go.
And whatnot. And so we have to learn how to use that vote, how to use that leverage, and we have to begin to teach our young people and whatnot. And we have to remember that you, as a parent, as a grandparent, you are your child's first teacher. We cannot depend on the enemy to teach us our culture. And so I'm going to leave it right there. I have to get ready to jump off. And like I said, I'm not feeling well at the moment, but I thank you for allowing me to have an opportunity to come.
You almost ignited us to go on the streets. You almost ignited me to go on the streets tonight. You know, no justice, no peace.
No peace.
Back at you, Almitra.
Thank you, little brother. Thank you, little brother.
Almitra, let's go. Back at you, Almitra.
Thank you, everyone. And if you can mute your mics, because it really helps with the audio when people are speaking. It really helps with the audio so that the audio comes through really clearly. So when you're not speaking, if you can mute your mics. We got the solutions. The brother is talking about, we already did it. So the model is already there. We already did education. I homeschool my children. I know a whole bunch of women that have done that. I know women that send their children to school, parents, families that send their children to school, and they still have homework for them to do, homeschool, books and things that for them too, so they can learn their culture. It takes us a level of intentionality, right? When we are clear that we are up against the absolute worst evil that there is to be up against, when we are just clear, we just know that, right? We're not doubting that. We're not making excuses for people. We're not trying to find them. No, we're not trying to find some sort of middle ground or excuse. We're just saying that that's true. And so therefore we have to do this. We have to prepare our children, right? Because they have to be the ones that continue what it is that we are doing and bring in the technology. So when Mecca was saying that the message is outdated, sis, I'm like, yep, because if the children are not saying the message, then the message is outdated because they got the current patois. So if they are not included in the conversation, if we are so scared of them, so scared of the technology, we don't know how to communicate, that's not going to work. We need to bridge whatever those gaps are and make sure that the children in our lives, that we are sharing information with them and we are listening. All right. So the challenge a lot of times is that the trauma of everything has us just going and not always listening. And so when we start really listening,
and the distraction,
the trauma and the distractions create trauma, first of all, right? And distract you from healing yourself. So it keeps you in a perpetual state of being traumatized.
What we can say is we have to get to a place to realize that we've won. And because we have won and made advantages, that now the opposition is coming to push us back. The other thing I guess we can say is that each of us should know how to reach somebody and some young person and begin to pour out. If we can't even get our groups, our churches, our schools, we need to volunteer and be with our young people in a place to start unpeeling back that which has been poured in them, which is not always right. And if we don't know our history, we will never know our future. Is that some of the things that you're saying, Almitra?
That is exactly what I am saying.
So when you going to call us together? When you going to galvanize a group of us and we can take this thing? Because it's too many of us that's been segregated. You know, this group over here, this group over here. We need unity. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the future of our children. And that's what we got to keep from. And we got to listen to them. They know. They know some stuff. So we got to listen. Now, the other thing,
we got to listen to them, and we got to share the story with them that we are unified.
And we are unified. Now,
we have to share the story with them on how it is that we are working together.
We got
they have to see it.
And I want to post this question. Should we celebrate July the 4th or should we be celebrating Juneteenth?
What?
Which one should we be celebrating? Okay, Hodge, which one should we be celebrating? I can't hear you. Mecca, which one should we be celebrating?
You're muted, Haja.
I don't think there's no cause for any celebration of any sort.
So from Juneteenth, you don't think we should celebrate Juneteenth?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Hodge.
I think we have the option of doing either one or either or. We are planning. We have a community garden here on 122nd Street in Harlem.
But why should we celebrate? Why should we celebrate July the 4th? We wasn't even free.
July 4th, for one thing, it's the 250th anniversary. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not a MAGA. Hear me out. I'm not a MAGA or anything like that. But I believe we have sacrificed too much blood, sweat, and treasure to let this thing go by.
Okay.
Without response. So we're going to have a counter.
Someone else. Somebody else. I know you're passionate. I know you was in the Army, but we need to let us move. Should we celebrate Juneteenth or 4th of July?
Okay, all right. I'm getting ready to answer your question. Okay. I said both. We're going to have a counter. We're going to have. Let me finish. We're going to have a counter celebration in our garden.
Time is ticking down. Time is ticking down. You got for the next program. Okay. For the next program. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Anyone else? Should we celebrate 4th of July or Juneteenth?
Mark should answer that. He's on the Juneteenth committee. Mark, where are you?
Okay.
I think he had to get off, right?
I think he had to go.
Mark is there. Deacon Deke, should we celebrate Juneteenth or 4th of July?
Juneteenth.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Mr. Patton, Juneteenth or 4th of July?
Juneteenth only.
Only, because do you know that when the United States, America broke away from Britain, we were still enslaved. I think it was what year was that? Somebody recall that year? We were still enslaved. Okay, we were still enslaved. So
it wasn't just about Texas.
We got our freedom. We did not get our freedom then. Okay, Mecca, your last words, closing word. Should we celebrate Juneteenth or 4th of July? I mean, not Mecca. I'm sorry, Almitra. Juneteenth or 4th of July, and you have the closing words to the show.
All right. So on Juneteenth, we should celebrate and we should educate. Okay, we should celebrate by educating on Juneteenth and every day until the 4th of July, and we should rename the 4th of July Frederick Douglass Day, and we should play his speech and teach his speech on that day. So you hear me? So it's about 2 weeks. So we start on Juneteenth.
I like that.
Teach children every day about what was happening in the country from the time of the 4th of July, which is 1776. We can start there, right? Yeah. Why not? Right? And to 1860, whenever it was that Juneteenth was, right? Just so much to cover in that time. So this is not an either or. This is a daily celebration from Juneteenth to the 4th of July. And the 4th of July is no longer Independence Day. Or maybe it is for somebody. But for us, it is Frederick Douglass Day. And we play his speech and we teach his speech. How about that? Let's be completely out of the box.
Let us all make a vow to take a child and to educate not just one child, but a group of children, and tell them about the victories that we had. We won. And may the Lord continue to bless you and keep you as we move from this show. But we will take our marching orders and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you, panel. This is WarCry. Boots on the ground. We had a great conversation.
Thank you. God bless you.
Everybody, let's clap.
God
Boots on the
bless. God
ground.
bless.
Boots on the ground. Boots on the
Boots on
ground.
the ground. 10
Thank you,
toes
King.
down.
Thank you.
And we're better
100%.
Boots on the
together.
ground. We got our
100%.
marching orders, and let's follow our orders. Okay, we're gonna do it, Almitra. We're gonna do it, and
No
when we
doubt.
come back,
No
we're gonna
doubt.
show the impact. And the next show, I want to bring young people on, so we can educate them. I want to bring young people on. We had a youth summit. I want another one. I want you to come on, Almitra. I want everybody to come on because we've got to do this thing. And guess what? We got to do it now.
That's right.
Amen.
I'll see you later. God bless
Amen.
you.
God bless.
Amen.
God bless.
This is WarCry. WarCry for our children, where the street meets the sanctuary and purpose meets power. Join me, Elder M, intercessor, street evangelist, prayer warrior, advocator for justice. We stand in the gap in the streets, in the courtyards, in the schoolyards, in the church, and on the block. This ain't just prayer. It's intercession. It's advocacy. We deal with real problems. Criminal justice, social justice, gun violence, social media, catfishing, human trafficking, mental illness, education disparities. We deal with it all here on WarCry. Our community has a voice. It's called WarCry. Each week, we link arms with community leaders, educators, pastors, parents calling out injustice. This is WarCry. This is not just a podcast. It's more than a moment. This is a movement. Join us. Let's give a voice to the problem and be the solution.
Not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep them going.
WarCry. We're going to speak out for our children. Let freedom ring? No. There cannot be freedom until there's justice. WarCry, join us Mondays, 11 a.m. I'm just about to lose my mind. This is WarCry. Oh, they're trying to turn time back. But let us get out and give a voice to the problem. This is WarCry. Join us, be with us, or be gone. Don't push us. This is WarCry.
Trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
We're not going under. This is WarCry.